Stillness, abundance, love, and light, health, and wholeness. Stillness, abundance, love, and light, health, and wholeness. Stillness and abundance, love and light, health, and wholeness to the cosmic conscious family and soul tribe, peekaboos and passerbys. I hope everybody feeling good for no reason at all. Radiating, vibrating, operating, emanating, being the best illustration and example of your highest self, the best version of yourself, whatever that may look like to you. I don't know your life like you do. You hear me? I just speak the life according to the things that we experience in this time, in this physical timeline. You know, I ain't gonna talk y'all ears off today, but I came through to say something. You hear me? I've been busy. I know I gotta answer some emails and things like that, but I'm gonna get to it. Y'all who been patient with me, I appreciate it. Keep being patient with me. So forth and so on. You know, a lot of times it's not easy, or there is no easy way to say what need to be said in the way that it need to be said when it's needed to be said. Whether it's people, places, or things that we gotta say it to. If you don't listen, you're gonna miss it. Because the world is a mental construct. And if we, those of us who are familiar with the laws of the universe, know that the first law is the universe is mental. But what does that say to you? When we so used to physicality, tasting, touching, you know, feeling. What does that say to you? The universe is mental. What it tells me is that if the universe is mental, despite all that we have experienced in this physical construct, that we gotta use our mind to get above it, whatever it may be to you in your experience. But we gotta use our mind to get above it. We gotta use our mind to get through it. You hear me? We gotta use our mind to get around it if necessary. But this ain't no time to keep being abundant. You hear me? It's a good time for a spiritual detox, you know. And when I say spiritual detox, you know, that ain't got nothing to do with burning no sage. You could burn you some sage to complement your detox, but that ain't got nothing to do with burning no sage or burning no incense, finding your best crystal beads to put on, or none of that. It's an inner work. I stress that. It's an inner work. Everything we do on the external, you know, is meant to complement it, you know, unless you got a whole bunch of complaints. It is an inner work, and everything we do on the outside, even as I'm you know, fanning my little sage, you know, it's just a compliment. Don't put the power. Don't put the power, and I repeat, don't put the power in the things that we do to complement us on our journey. The power is in us. The power is in our belief. And it's so important that I emphasize that, because it's so easy to get tricked. You know, we in a time where it's so easy for words to trick people, especially when a bunch of people is using the words, you know, and the things that we use the words to describe really can't give description of what we're using the words to describe. And I know that sounded tricky, or a little tongue twisty, and it is tricky to an extent, and it is a little tongue twisted to an extent, you know, and that's why it's even more important to to know how to hear, to be able to know how to listen, you know. And hearing and listening is not the same thing, you know. Sight and seeing is not the same thing. Talking and communicating is not the same thing. It's a fine line in between it, you know. It's a rate of vibration in between it, you know. But as I said, it ain't no way to say, to make easy what just ain't easy. And one thing about truth, it ain't easy. You know, truth is just truth. It ain't hard. Truth is just truth. Y'all heard me say before, truth don't care about the way that we feel in a situation. Truth don't even have feelings. Only humans do. If you don't listen, you're gonna miss it. And the truth don't need no help. Only the lies do. If you don't listen, you're gonna miss it. So if it's a truth being told, regardless of what you've been told, it's a truth that you're gonna tell to yourself. And if a lie been told, regardless of what you've been told, it's a lie that you're gonna tell to yourself. Why do I stress that? Because our experiences have given us the opportunity to undo a lot of things, that was intentionally done, and consciously done, and to do a lot of things that was unconsciously done. You hear me? Because if a damage has been done, then it don't matter whether it was a conscious damage or unconscious damage. The only matter of concern is to get rid of the damage that's been done. Is somebody listening? Is somebody listening? So this to the people who need to hear it. You know, when you hear something that you know that you needed to hear, I appreciate y'all too. You know, I say that because what we go through don't matter like what we tell ourselves when we going through it. What we go through don't matter like what we tell ourselves when we going through it. Why do I emphasize that? Why did I repeat that? Because what we tell ourselves when we're going through anything that we're going through at any point in time, that's where the damage is caused. And if there's growth that's going to occur, that's where the growth can occur. But we're so used to making identification through the description of what we're experiencing. And as y'all heard me say before, we ain't learned to do that enough in the good moments to know how to carry it when we going through the not so good moments. I'm gonna repeat it. We ain't learned how to do that enough in the good moments, so we know how to carry it into the not so good moments. And I say that because I hear the word faith used a lot of. I hear the faith. We all hear the word faith used, but for those who actually operate in that and what that frequency is, we see the cracks in the places where faith is used so loosely. You know, I ain't gonna point out nobody, but you know, if you're not one of them, then you know a lot of them. You hear me? But I say that because it's easy to sound built up prior to a situation occurring that's unwanted, that's unexpected, that sometimes we're not ready for. And not know how to use all that faith, you know, that we'll profess before an unwanted situation has occurred. I see this so much. You know, I see this so much. And when I see it, it let me know that the individual that that may be acting out and in a disconnect from what their faith's supposed to be is somebody who has externalized their self, externalized their personal power, and so many other things into the external experience that's being had. And we seeing that a lot, whether we recognize what we seeing a lot, for me to be able to say what people will what people will do to appear to be somebody to everybody is unbelievable. But it's believable at the same time, because we got to know what we seeing when we see it, you hear me? But what people will do to appear to be, what people will do to appear to be somebody to everybody, be the same shit that'll have you going through hell in your life. It'd be the same shit that'll have you suffering. Cause what use is it to appear to be to the world, to the outer world, to the external world, when your inner verse fucked up, when your inner universe fucked up? Ain't nobody got no time to be trying to appear to be to be accepted. It's time for us to be who we are, you hear me? And work with what we working with, you heard? You know? Cause the same shit got people going in the same hell that they always been familiar with, you know? And no matter how much people gotta and who people have a desire to change, until you have an intention to change, ain't no change gonna be made. So the hell for those who experience the hell in their reality gonna always be sitting there. So we gotta you know, it's a lot of shifts on a lot of levels that need to occur, mentally, emotionally. You know, we gonna keep talking about it as long as it need to be talked about. You know, cause it's one thing to know all the pieces in place for us to master ourselves into higher living, into a higher life, into higher being through our experiences. And it's another thing to know how to push those pieces. You know, for those who want to use this life to play chess and not checkers, it's a whole nother thing to be able to know how to push those pieces through how we use our mind. See, we back to the mind. Because the experiences the experiences don't define us. Our mind state gonna define us through the experiences. So how we use our mind is of importance. You know, the more you know how to see, the more you will see. You know, and the more that you see, the more you'll know what to avoid, or you'll know what to gravitate towards. You hear me? I say that to say whatever you used to seeing, you get used to seeing it. But everything that we used to seeing may not be the best thing for you. And if you could if you could find things in the different portions of your life that give you identification that you used to something that it's time for you to outgrow, then stand in your truth in that, because it ain't gonna be no truth like your own. That's all I came through to say. Feel good for no reason at all. I love y'all. You hear me? Thanks for the likes, shares, comments. Hit the like button if you ain't hit it yet. Hit the subscribe button. You know, if you find your way through here and you ain't hit the subscribe button yet, you know, support the channel. You hear me? If I say something that ignite more light in you, then share it with somebody else, because it'll help them too. You hear me? As I said before, we gonna exit this one better than we started. You hear me? I love y'all. I am Sawu. Peace.